Today, we're going to talk about Robert G. Ingersoll. Now, you might think that Dawkins, Harris, Hitchens are, prominent, the most prominent atheists in the world. It's not exactly true. There are others before him, one of whom was Robert Green Ingersoll, 1833 to 1899. And his complete works, which you can download for free from Internet Archive, comprises 12 volumes. So, what did Mr. Ingersoll say? 1. He was for women's rights. He was for contraception. He was for no slavery, equal rights between all men and women, and children. Finally, someone actually correctly read, spare the rod, like spare me your grief. It means hold the goddamn beatings, you stupid ass. Spare me your complaints about leniency and liberalism. Stop it, idiots. Doesn't mean use the rod every chance you had. No. Means directly the opposite. Read King James the way it was meant to be read. As in, suffer the children to come to me. What, do you think he meant? Just chase them up so they get within striking range or something? No, means permit. English is a very complicated language, which the writers of King James perfectly understood, and you don't. So, rethink your positions. And who persecutes witches anymore? Come on. Cut it out. Honestly. You'll like Ingersoll. You really will. He used to be a Republican when Republicans and Democrats were, before they had switched places. He was a friend of Walt Whitman, Thomas Paine, Thomas Jefferson. Come on, guys. Abraham Lincoln. Colonel Ingersoll fought on the side of the Union. He was a cavalry officer. And yes, he was courageous. He wasn't a coward or anything. Happily married man. Demonstrably, eternally in love with his wife. He had 5 children, which he treated with kindness at all times. He had his enemies. And no, he was never going to be a candidate as a Republican because he was regarded religion as superstition. And for the most part, he was quite right. He was pro-evolution, pro-education, pro-science. It was part of the Great Enlightenment. And he never deviated from that. And he was an orator. He would get up and people would come from miles and they would pay the vast sum in the day to hear his talks, often 3 hours long and spoken from memory. And the man was funny. So even the religious laughed. They loved the jokes. They loved the jokes. I will read you a couple